If you are an employer, you need to be aware about a case that's been reported there this week from the Workplace Relations Commission, especially if you're an employer who at any time is considering making an employee redundant. In this particular case, a tech firm has been ordered to pay a sales director €112,000 over the way that they handled or mishandled the redundancy. The background is it's an American tech firm called Pluralsight. The Irish sales director has won an award of €112,000 as a consequence of the way that her redundancy was handled in 2022. The WRC made the award on foot of a complaint under the Unfair Dismissals Act 1977 against Pluralsight Ireland Limited, and the employee in question is a lady called Grania Sherlock. She had climbed the ranks at the US headquartered educational technology firm since joining in Dublin in 2019. She was promoted to a management role in its global SME small or sales team in April 2021, and she became the medium-sized and small business director a year later. The post had a base salary of €94,800, and then there was performance-related bonuses and commission. The management of the company made what they described as a difficult decision to restructure and reduce its staff by a fifth in 2022. And this affected 254 workers in the United States and 9 in Ireland. The WRC heard that the announcement in December 2022 that Ms. Sherlock's job and all the Europe-based sales teams would fall under the Dublin commercial team. The position of Ms. Sherlock was that the process to make her redundant was basically contrived and manipulated to ensure that she was selected for redundancy. The company denied this. Her case was that there was disquiet between the Dublin commercial team and the SMB team about the attribution of deals. She told the WRC that she often felt ignored and omitted from the Dublin office. There was an announcement then in December 2022 that Miss Sherlock's job and all the Europe-based SMB sales teams would fall under the Dublin commercial team, and that only 5 of the 8 remaining leadership roles would be kept on in the combined team in the year ahead. The company's position was that it denied the selection process had been tailored to suit the candidates he wished to retain. So the allegation here is that the selection of this lady, Miss Sherlock, was unfair, and the process was essentially a stitch up or a fit up or a contrivance to identify her for redundancy. The company's vice president of Revenue, Strategy and Operations gave evidence that the redundancy process was no different from previous restructures, although it was bigger and on a global scale. The employee claimed that the process was biased. The company's vice president denied this and said it was completely objective. The company's legal team put forward the argument that the company had faced significant economic challenges in 2022, which demanded job cuts, and had carried out a legitimate redundancy process. The Workplace Relations Commission adjudicator found that there was a lack of clarity about what individuals were involved in the decision to bring the company's SMB sales team into its commercial function. She added that she was not satisfied with the objectivity of the selection criteria, specifically the 80% weighting given to interviews with those at risk compared to 20% on past performance. So the adjudicator took issue with the process that the company engaged in. The adjudicator said that the respondent failed to demonstrate where the complainant ranked in the selection process, and furthermore that she was evaluated fairly vis-à-vis other candidates. This, as well as the fact that the company had not given Ms. Sherlock her ranking after the interviews, went against this argument that its process was open and transparent, the adjudicator added. She added that the company Pluralsight was unreasonable not to consider the extension of the consultation period, or to at least have engaged with her on her request for an extension. In setting compensation then for the unfair dismissal, which the adjudicator held to be an unfair dismissal, Miss Turner, the adjudicator, noted that the parties were in dispute on the calculation of Miss Sherlock's losses. The employee's total pay in 2022 was $183,000, the WRC noted. Her base salary was $94,800, where a further $62,200 commission on the basis of reaching her sales figures. The adjudicator was also asked to consider cash equity payments in calculating Miss Sherlock's losses, as well as a bonus payment of €20,000, which was awarded in 2022, and that was to fall payable in March 23 and 24. Miss Sherlock's lawyers also argued that she'd lost out on stock options, which would have been made available to her in a series of 4 annual tranches starting in April last year. The adjudicator found that Miss Sherlock's efforts to secure new work were reasonable and wrote that she would hold the company liable for the employee's financial loss for a period of 13 months from February 2024 to March 2024. That should read from February 2023 to March 2024 on the basis of the worker's base salary plus commission. The adjudicator deducted 15 weeks' pay to account for a period where Miss Sherlock had been in a probationary role in 2023, and also applied a 50% reduction over the final 5 months of the calculable period, taking the view that Miss Sherlock's effort had not shown as dedicated and consistent an effort as immediately after her redundancy, just to get a new job. However, she did conclude that Miss Sherlock could claim the 20 grand bonus and a cash equity payment from 23 worth 6,775, but not the stock options. The total award in the case was €112,000. So here's a case of redundancy going badly wrong for the employer. Obviously, the employee lost her job, but she brought a claim for unfair dismissal. She was basically saying either it was a sham redundancy or an unfair selection process, and that she was basically unfairly selected, that it wasn't transparent, and that she wasn't given the marking, etc., arising from her interviews and her application to stay on, and the company was unreasonable in not allowing an extension of the consultation period which Miss Sherlock requested. Bottom line is €112,000 is what she's been awarded, and that will be taxable, I would have thought, because it's under the Unfair Dismissals Act. Nevertheless, it's a significant amount of money, and that's a warning, I suppose, to employers that they need to engage not just in a process, but in a fair process, in a process that can be stood over and justified and can be shown as transparent at the end of the day if it's challenged. That's the key thing. So the employer needs to be careful, because redundancies, badly carried out redundancies, sham redundancies, or redundancies where you have an unfair selection of an employee for redundancy, they can lead to dismissal or to unfair dismissal claims, which ultimately succeed on behalf of the employee and cost the company lots of money. And this case, as I say, the sales director lady, Miss Sherlock, she was awarded €112,000. Hope you find the video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate it if you hit the old thumbs up button down below. Thank you very much.